Imagine living 50,000 years ago. There are no cities, no smartphones, no dating apps, no weddings with white dresses or diamond rings. Instead, you wake up in a small camp surrounded by forests, rivers, and open grasslands. Every day is a fight for survival. You hunt for food, gather plants, avoid dangerous predators, and rely on your tribe for protection. Life is difficult. Every decision matters. Yet, even in this harsh world, one thing almost certainly existed: love. People laughed together. They formed close relationships. They raised children as families. They comforted one another during difficult times. They mourned loved ones when they died. Love wasn't invented by modern civilization. In fact, it's much older than cities, kingdoms, or even agriculture. But what did falling in love actually look like tens of thousands of years ago? Did prehistoric humans date? Did they get married? Did they kiss? Did they exchange gifts? And perhaps the biggest question of all, how can scientists know anything about love when no one from that time left behind written records? Let's journey back into prehistory and explore what archaeologists, anthropologists, and evolutionary scientists believe about one of humanity's oldest emotions. Love didn't suddenly appear when Homo sapiens began building civilizations. Scientists believe the roots of romantic attachment reach much further back, possibly millions of years before modern humans even existed. Many animals today form long-lasting pair bonds. Wolves often remain with the same mate for years while raising their pups together. Gibbons, one of our closest primate relatives, frequently live as monogamous pairs. Swans famously stay together for life. These partnerships evolved because cooperation increased the chances of raising healthy offspring. Humans face an even greater challenge. Unlike most mammals, human babies are born incredibly helpless. A newborn can't walk, feed itself, or survive without years of constant care. Because children require such a long period of protection, two parents working together offered a huge evolutionary advantage. Natural selection likely favored emotional bonds that encouraged adults to stay together long enough to raise their children successfully. In other words, the emotions we recognize today as romantic love may have first evolved as a survival strategy. But over hundreds of thousands of years, those biological instincts became something far more meaningful. They became trust, affection, companionship, and eventually, love. Now imagine living in a tribe of only 30 or 40 people. There are no crowded cities filled with strangers. Everyone knows everyone else. Finding a partner isn't as simple as walking into a cafe or creating an online dating profile. In fact, many prehistoric communities had to avoid having children with close relatives. Anthropologists believe neighboring groups regularly met during seasonal gatherings. These gatherings allowed different bands of hunter-gatherers to exchange food, tools, knowledge, and perhaps most importantly, new social relationships. Picture dozens of families gathering around large campfires after weeks of traveling. People tell stories, children play together, musicians beat drums made from animal hides, others dance beneath the stars. Hunters compare their skills. Elders share wisdom. Young adults notice someone they've never met before. Perhaps that's where many relationships began. Instead of showing off expensive cars or fashionable clothes, attraction probably depended on very different qualities. Could this person hunt? Would they share food during difficult times? Were they kind to children? Did they cooperate with others? Could they solve problems under pressure? Generosity may have been far more attractive than wealth because generosity helped everyone survive. Even today, studies show that kindness, reliability, and humor consistently rank among the most desirable qualities in a partner. Perhaps our ancestors weren't so different after all. But how did prehistoric people actually express romantic interest? No one can know for certain. Still, human communication extends far beyond spoken language. A smile, a lingering glance, laughter shared around a fire, helping someone carry water, offering the best portion of freshly hunted meat, standing beside someone during danger. These simple acts communicate affection in cultures across the world today. It's likely they did thousands of years ago as well. Gift-giving may also have played an important role. Archaeologists have discovered decorative beads made from shells, carved bone pendants, colorful stones, feathers, and animal teeth dating back more than 100,000 years. Some of these materials came from locations hundreds of miles away. That means someone deliberately carried them over enormous distances. Many of these objects probably represented identity, family, or social status. But it's easy to imagine another possibility. Imagine spending days carving a smooth pendant from bone, or collecting the brightest flowers you could find during a long journey, or choosing the most beautiful shell along a distant coastline. The object itself wasn't valuable because of money, it was valuable because someone invested time, care, and effort into creating it. That idea feels surprisingly familiar. Across cultures today, handmade gifts often carry more emotional meaning than expensive ones. Perhaps that was true tens of thousands of years ago as well. What about marriage? Did prehistoric humans have weddings? Probably not in the way we imagine them today. There were no churches, no legal documents, no wedding rings, no photographers capturing every moment. But that doesn't mean committed relationships didn't exist. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies around the world have found that many communities recognize long-term partnerships. Couples often share responsibilities, raise children together, and receive support from their extended families. Prehistoric societies almost certainly developed their own customs. One tribe might celebrate with dancing around a fire, another might exchange symbolic gifts, another might simply recognize a couple once they began living together. Marriage as a legal institution came much later. Commitment almost certainly came first. Perhaps the strongest evidence that love existed in prehistoric times comes not from romance, but from death. Archaeologists have uncovered ancient graves where individuals were carefully buried with flowers, jewelry, tools, ornaments, and treasured possessions. Some graves suggest extraordinary care was taken during burial. Someone dug the grave. Someone placed meaningful objects beside the body. Someone took time to say goodbye. These weren't random acts. They reflected grief, respect, memory, and possibly love. Even more moving are discoveries of ancient individuals who survived severe injuries or disabilities for many years. Some prehistoric humans lost limbs, others suffered illnesses that prevented them from hunting or gathering food. Yet they survived for years. How? Because someone cared for them. Someone shared food. Someone protected them. Someone helped them recover. These individuals couldn't have survived alone. Their communities chose compassion over convenience. That willingness to care for another person, especially when there is no immediate benefit, is one of the defining characteristics of humanity. Perhaps love wasn't expressed through grand speeches or elaborate ceremonies. Perhaps it was something much simpler. Sharing your last piece of food, helping someone walk after an injury, keeping watch while they slept, holding them during moments of fear. Those quiet acts of care may tell us more about ancient love than any artifact ever could. So, what did ancient humans do when they fell in love? They probably smiled. They laughed together around campfires. They shared food after successful hunts. They crafted handmade gifts from shells, stones, bones, or flowers. They worked side by side to build shelters. They protected one another from danger. They raised children together. And when someone they loved died, they grieved. The world around them looked completely different from ours. There were no cities, no written language, no social media, no photographs. But the emotions inside them may have been remarkably familiar. Love encouraged cooperation. It strengthened families. It helped communities survive during difficult times. And in many ways, it may have been just as important to human evolution as fire, tools, or language itself. Because before there were kingdoms, before there were monuments, before there were empires, there were simply people choosing to trust one another in an uncertain world. Two individuals sharing food, protecting each other, building a future together. And perhaps that's the oldest love story humanity has ever known.